My name is Scott Baker, and currently I am an acupuncturist practicing in the Northwest. And I have had a long process of coming to the current place that I'm at health-wise. A lot of it is spiritual healing. I did a lot of work dismantling old bad habits, toxifying myself through my youth and kind of into my young adulthood, and have spent a lot of time dismantling behaviors and even physical inputs that were detrimental, although I wasn't aware of it at the time, but in accumulation had a very toxic and wearing effect on me. And so, at this point in my life, I feel like I'm still on a journey, though having had refined a lot of that stuff into a more coherent form. The journey will persist so long as I'm in this physical vessel, so. There's no barriers. The only obstacle that would have prevented me from coming on this retreat is simply work. That's not really a good answer, but it's the only honest answer. The only barrier that would have prevented me from coming on this trip is if I didn't prioritize what is truly important to me. If I had simply said, oh, I have to work, oh, I can't afford it, oh, I should XYZ other excuse, I clearly would not be prioritizing an experience that will only contribute to advancing not only my health, but my psycho-spiritual, emotional wellness. So there are no barriers other than the ones that I construct for myself. Yeah, I didn't bring expectations to the retreat. I thought that I would come here in a capacity to gently offer services of acupuncture as they may have been needed throughout the retreat, talk about Chinese medicine with people who were curious, talk about and share my own personal experiences to whatever extent that those may be useful for other people, so we could share not only what struggle is like at an individual level, but also just open that space up to create relationships by just allowing honesty. But again, I didn't come with expectations, and what I found almost immediately on the first day of the retreat was that the most important thing for me to experience during the retreat was actually listening and being present to just observe, hear, and deepen my ability to feel compassion and very much empathy for what people are going through in their personal struggles. And that became more apparent and more amplified throughout the retreat. I found myself not retreating, but speaking less. And that took form over the course of a couple of days for me to actually understand what value it was offering to me. But really it was observation, listening, and trying to convey a sense of silent empathy. The community of the retreat it's the nameless thing. The community of the retreat it's synonymous with the divine, the 10,000 names. It was unspeakable in its definition. It was beyond absolutely fucking fabulous. And it will be created in many separate manifestations and has been over the course of cultural history and time and in the future as well. But it was also unique specifically to this retreat. And there was a unity there that we dream about. There was a unity there that we all aspire to experience. And it was just simply a divine group. After the retreat, it's going to be very important for me to take the encapsulated shared stories from everybody in the group who was so raw in its honesty. All of the stories were so brutally cracked open in people's deepest emotional and spiritual experiences that were laid out and presented before all of us in very beautiful, messy, transparent ways. It's going to be important for me to be able to take the sense of feeling that I had and convey that in my interactions, starting by going to the airport and talking to the TSA person who lets me through the gate, transmitted to the person who's on the plane that I sit next to, transmitted to the patients that I'll work with first thing tomorrow morning, and transmitted to my wife when I go home and see her tonight. The rawness of honesty in and of itself was the most beautiful experience that I had on the trip through the retreat, and is the kernel that I will take away from it and then try to convey and cultivate with my community when I go back home. Would I recommend this retreat to others? Absolutely. The only other point I could make about the retreat is that you have to first make a commitment to yourself to show up. You have to first make a decision in your environment, in your safety, that you're going to decide to do something in a risky realm for yourself. Once you make that decision, buy a plane ticket and show up at the retreat. Once you're at the retreat, realize that it's very dynamic and you have no idea what you're going to experience. But it will only be an absolutely beautiful experience, a very honest experience. And it may pull things out of you that you didn't expect. But that's the reason that we're all together doing this. And then I hope that translates to going back and sharing that with others, simply put.